Hi guys. This is my first video on my channel. I hope you like it. So how to connect an electric motor and so that it then works for a long time and serves you faithfully. First of all, we need to look at the nameplate of the electric motor, on which all the main characteristics of the electric motor are written. We are interested in current, voltage, connecting the windings. Well, the frequency of the network, in my region is 50 Hz. We need the motor current to select the wires for connection, the contactor and the motor protection circuit breaker to the rating or one position more than the rating. The mains voltage and the winding connection diagram are closely related parameters of the motor. The first number before the fraction corresponds to the first digit before the fraction. If the connection diagram of the windings does not coincide with the value of our network, we need to reconnect the windings. It is not difficult. The corresponding mnemonic diagram is displayed on the back of the motor cover. In the next step, I will show you how to draw an electric motor connection diagram so that it is more convenient to connect. We will need a drawing program. I have the simplest one, called eSplim. And so we open the program. 1. We need to draw the terminal blocks. 2. Need the electric motor itself. 3. An introductory circuit breaker is needed. In our case, current protection and thermal protection are combined in one place. 4. Need a contactor. 5. We connect the wires from the terminals to the motor. 'So done. The next step is to connect the control wires. To start and stop, you need start and stop buttons 8. And also it is necessary to connect the coil and the auxiliary contact of the contactor for self-supply. If we want to protect the control circuit, we can supply the circuit breaker for the control circuit. Let's see in what sequence our scheme works. After turning on the automatic protection of control circuits, a phase appears in front of the stop button. Stop is always closed and therefore power goes through it immediately to the start button. At the same time, the power is divided into a start button and an additional contact of the KM1 contactor. Press the start button, power is supplied to the contactor coil, KM1 is turned on and the additional contact of KM1 is also clamped. The contactor switches to self-supply. The inclusion of KM1 leads to the inclusion of the electric motor. The motor will turn on until the coil supply circuit is interrupted. We break the power circuit with the stop button, and the electric motor stops. We have an electric motor and these are the specifications. The network voltage is 380, so we need to focus on the values after the fraction. We check the electric motor visually, try to twist it by hand, it should turn without third-party sounds. We take the multimeter and set it to dial, check all the windings for resistance, we should not have a zero or a break in the winding. Do not forget to check with respect to the case. Checking the contactor and motor protection circuit breakers. We look at the inscriptions for connecting wires, inputs and outputs. Connect the phase to A1 and 0 to A2. On the contrary, there is no difference. We look at the characteristics of the coil to 30 volt and 50 Hz. Terminal blocks ABC, 0 and ground. We connect the ground wire. We supply power to the circuit breaker. We connect the neutral wire. We check the buttons. The start button should be NO, the wire connection contacts. The stop button should be NC, wire connection contacts. Let's start connecting. We connect the contactor. We connect the electric motor. We connect the stop button. We make a jumper on the start button, connect an additional contact of the contactor. When the start button is pressed, the phase passes through the wire, energizes the contactor coil, input A1. After the contactor closes through an additional contact, it becomes self-powered. The second end of the coil, input A2, is powered by a blue wire. After the command is given, the contactor is closed, the motor rotates in one direction or the opposite direction. Let's try. As you can see, the contactor has closed, 3-phase voltage is applied to the motor through the circuit breaker and then through the contactor. We press the stop button. Since the coil power passes through the stop button, the circuit is broken and the contactor opens.